the positive attributes and the contributions such as training community involvement and the contribution in US family caregiving responsibilities and ties in the US education and attainment attainments stable and lawful employment history achievements length of lawful residence in the US compliance with the tax obligations and the financial responsibility in US will carry a greater weightage. At the same time, USCI is scrutinizing behavior in consonance with a civic responsibility, including repeat driving under influence, convenience, and the false claims to citizenship and unlawful voting. A Chicago-based Indian family that was examining the possibility of applying for citizenship told TOL Times 70 years ago when we initially moved to US both of us faced a tax disputes ongoing intending of the Indian US tax treaty. This could not be a bolt about the record loss of jobs during the pandemic and non-repayments on of the interest or a principal amount against the loan could also be issued that comes out for many aspirants during the processing citizenship applic- applications they said. However, there appears to be a ray of hope for applicants with the past wrongdoing. USCIS United States Citizenship and Immigration Services official will look for the con- concrete evidence and rehabilitation, including repayments of tax companies with court order conducting conditions or the testimony from the community members according to the guidelines. Such evidence may support a finding of a good moral characters even where negative history exists. It may be recalled that the Joff, jo- Joseph Adlow, who had confirmed as a director of US CIC is July told New York Times that the currently US citizen test is too easy, nothing that many applicants can't simply memorize answers and passing without true understandings. This is another change that could be on the while. Next, let's talk about Moscow and Kia launching attack on amid diplomatic moves. ठीक है, let's go. Kia and Moscow launches attacks drones and each other's Sunday at the days before Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is due in US for talks with President Donald Trump and on ending 3 years of war with Russia. Fighting has continued to rage during a flurry of diplomatic moves to end Moscow invasion. Kia air forces and Russian attacks Ukraine with 60 Iranian made shelled and took other drones as well as missiles. The government of the Sclander, Sclander missiles, the embattled eastern Donetsk region, the eastern Don Donetsk region, Wyndham Phil Askin said Russia attacks killed 5 people in the area on Saturday. In Russia, the defense minister said Kia launches 46 drones on the country, mostly over the border region, but also over the Nizhyan overgrown regions east of Moscow, hundreds of kilometers from Ukraine. The acting governor of Kursk Kush region, Alexander Kastam said the Ukrainian drones at attack killed a man. Melania writes a peace letter to Putin. US President Donald Trump's Friday handed Vladimir Putin a letter written by his wife, First Lady Melania Trump, pleading for a Russian leading to make a peace in the name of children. Putin read the peace letter immediately after Trump handed it to him. According to Fox News, In today's world, some children are forced to carry a quiet laugher untouched by the darkness around them. Read the letter which was signed by the First Lady but did not mention Ukraine by the name. Mr. Putin, you can single handedly restore their metabolic laughters. It added, it's protective. In protecting these kids, you will do more than serve Russia alone. You serve humanity itself. Such a bold idea transcutes all the human division, and you, Mr. Putin, are fit to implementing this vision with the stroke of a pen today. The letter said it is all. The US seeks expertise from the South Korean Japan to counter China. The American lawmakers are using a trip to South Korea and Japan to explore how US can tap those allies shipbuilding expertise and capability to help boost their own capabilities, which are draft, drafted by those to China. Since Timmy Duckworth and Kim, who will land in Seoul before traveling to Japan, plan to meet top shipbuilders from the second and the third largest shipping building countries. This trip means as President Donald Trump demands a plan to review US shipyards and emerge foreign parties, Pentagon and seeking $47 billion from the shipbuilders in its budget. Deems grants for protects over Bush and resident. The thousands of gathered in the cities across the US Saturday to promote President Donald Trump's plan to keep control of a Congress after 26 midterm by pushing Republican leads to states would reduce the congressional maps in the favor of the Republicans. The push for the rare and aggressively parties residing in the set of the fewer response amongst many Democratic leaders and activists. The biggest event appeared to be a Texas capital and Austin by the dozens of Democratic states. Repo has temporarily entered prevented the Republican lawmakers from passing a red rule map. Three states moved to send a National Guard nation members to DC. Three states moving to deploy hundreds of members of their National Guards to their national capital, part of the Trump administration efforts to overhaul the polling in Washington through the federal crackdown on the crime and homelessness. West Virginia said it has deploying 300 to 400 troops, while South Carolina pledged to 200 and Ohio said it will send 150 in the coming days. Its power play to presidents has justifying an emerging response to the crime and homelessness, even though city officials have noted that the violence crimes is lower than it's during the Trump first term is official. Russia and Ukraine must make a conscious to end the war, says Rubio. Talks between US Donald Trump and Putin product enough movements to justify a meeting with the Ukrainian and European leaders. US Secretary State Marco Rubio told CBS on Sunday that Rubio Rubio said on Russian and Ukrainian would have make a conscious and to end the war, adding the US might not be able to produce a scenario guarantee peace. I am not saying we are the verge of the peace deal, but I am saying verge. But I am saying we saw moments enough to justify the follow-ups meeting with Zelensky and European. Rubio said his commitment to where America US official president to talk with Putin is social media post. Trump wrote, big process at Russian stays tuned. We have no details. Speaking separately to the Fox News, Rubio said talks had narrowed down to key issuing with including drawing bordering long-term security guarantee for Kia, which military alliance have Ukraine could have. He said, adding there is a lot of work then remains. Putin has ruled out Ukraine becoming the member of NATO. Article 5 of alliance characters is a mutual defense pact obligation allies to defend a member from attack. Steve Witkoff, a Trump special envoy to Russia, told CNN the US side had warned the conscious of that the US could offer Article 5 like protection. Pressed for detail, he said the US is potentially prepared to be able to give Article 5 security guarantees, but not from NATO, directly from the US and other European countries. This would be one of the topics for discussing for decision. Monday, he said, sources said Trump and the Putin decision pro- propose for the Russian and relinquishing the pockets of occupied Ukrainian and exchange for Ukraine crediting sorts of vortex lands in the east. We may not like it, but we need it may not be pleasant. It may be distasteful, but in the order for there to end the war, there are things Russia wants that it cannot get, and there are things Ukraine wants that it cannot get," said Rubio. Four Indian origin men among six held attack in UK town. Four Indian origin men have been arrested and charged for an armed assassination of near Wolverhamptons in UK. Left three men wounded and a car splattered in blood. Motive not established yet, reporter Naomi Canton. The police said officers were called to Arbis driving. The Bilestone said after 6 a.m. Friday, terror reports of Friday flight involving several peoples have bladed weapons. Six peoples have been helped. Two were bailed while in inquiries continues. Hardeep Singh, 28, of Hounslow. Harpreet Singh, 25, of Liu Aixer. Mukesh Kumar, 30, and of Wolfhampton, and Lakwinder Singh, 26, and Smithwick will remain in the custody Sunday to appear to be for Wolverhampton's count. A number of terms came together to make arrest. Our probes is moving quickly. We establish exactly what happened, said Inspector Adam Keen. Protest across Israel seeking end to Gaza war. Demonstration across Israel is called a Sunday for an end to Gaza war and detail to release the hostage held by establishment to push liberalization lambasted by the PM Benjamin Netanyahu and his allies. A huge Israeli flag converged with the portfolios. The remained captivity was unfurled in Tel Aviv's so-called Hostage Square, which has been focal point of protest throughout the war. The demonstrators also blocked roads, including the Democrats also blocked the road, including highway connecting Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, where they set tires on fires. According to Israeli media, footage of police said more than 30 protesters were arrested for disturbing public order. Netanyahu slashed the protesters, saying their actions not only harden the Hamas position but also ensure that the horrors of October 7 will reoccur. Meanwhile, Gaza Citizens Defense Agency said Israeli strikes and gunfire killed at least 18 Palestinians Sunday, including 7 shots dead, while collective aid while collecting it.